Hello fancy people, how are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are having a beautiful, fabulous, amazing week. So I'm back with another video that I'm really excited about, and I know you guys are excited about because you guys love every single video related on this topic of mine. So this is going to be part 2 to how I paid my rent with no job. So if you haven't watched the first 2 videos, make sure you go ahead and click the I if you're going to be up here or here and watch those 2 videos first. And if you're new to my channel, go ahead and click subscribe so you can join us all on this fancy journey to design a fancy life. So the first month, it was August, so now Storytime, we are in September. So first things first, there's one thing that I have to kind of address you guys. I was actively looking for jobs the entire process. Before moving into my apartment, the first month living in my apartment, I was actively looking for jobs. I did not want a job, but because people are going off me in the comments like, why didn't you get a job? You should just get a job. I was looking for a job. I was broke. I couldn't go to the interview, so it was only so much I could do. So early on in that year, like January, I did apply to 2 positions. One position was to be an avid tutor, and I was making about $15 an hour, cha-ching. And the other position was an after-school tutor, and I was gonna be making about $9.50 at that job. And I know what you're thinking, but it didn't lose you already. You're like, what? This is how I paid my rent with no job. Let me remind you, this is part 2 to the first video. However, everything didn't go as fine and dandy as we would like to hope. So just continue watching, and trust me, you will still be inspired and shocked. All right, so let's keep going. About the second week of September, I got hired to both jobs. Right? Life seems like it's going great. Well, so I got hired to both jobs, and I want to say about like a week into both positions, I got a phone call. And I got a phone call from my boss from the attitude position. Her name is Susie, and she basically called me, left a voicemail on my phone telling me not to come into work on Tuesday morning. She didn't give an explanation as to why or when to go to work, but she told me just don't show up at all on Tuesday. And I was like, that's kind of sketch. Now, I really don't trust Susie that much because my first day at the advocated position, she forgot to call me and tell me what time to come in. So Tuesday morning, I was gonna get ready to go to work, so I gave her a call just to double check on everything and see what's going on. She didn't answer. I left her voicemail. She called me back immediately, and basically we had a conversation, and she just reminded me like a million times, like, Clarice, just make sure you don't go into work today. You don't have to show up. It's fine. Don't even worry about it. And so I kept kind of asking her like, well, is everything okay? And she's just like kind of like brushing it off. And then finally she just says, unfortunately, we got some news from Mrs. Smith, and the information she shared with us is deemed inappropriate, and unfortunately, Clarice, I'm sorry, but we have to let you go. I'm sorry, I have to go. Have a good day. Good luck with everything. Bye. Boom. What are you talking about? I absolutely loved everything about being an avid tutor. I loved going to work every single day. I loved the teachers. I felt like I was one of the teachers because I would eat lunch with the teachers, and I grew a really strong connection with my students. And there was even a student that I had, and her name was Clarice. Her name was Clarice. And in that moment, all I could do was cry. And I just remember crying like so hard and just flailing back and forth in my bed and just questioning and asking God, why? Like, why? I just really couldn't understand, like, why would God bring me so close? Like, why would he allow me to get this job and then just take it away from me? Like, without that job, I wasn't going to be able to pay for my house, my anything, because the other position was only $9 and it was like 3 hours a week. So I would be making like $200 a month. It would be nothing. It would not help me survive. So I was really making on this job to like take care of my life. And I was sitting there in my bed after she hung up and told me I was fired. And I was just crying, and I was calling out to God, asking why. And he must have was tired of me. He was like, girl, chill out, because my mom just so happened to call me right then and there in that moment. And obviously I told her what happened, and she consoled me, but she was just like, all right, Clarice, you have two options. You can go down there to the school where you worked with the teachers as an avid tutor, and you can talk to Mrs. Smith and find out what happened and try to get some understanding. Or you're just going to go straight to the district office where Susie and her boss, Mr. Vidal, are, and you can just pick up your check. I was just so torn, because again, like I said, now I'm placed in a position where I have to have and face really hard conversations concerning my life. And these conversations are so hard. Hi, why did you fire me? What the freak? So this next thing that I'm going to tell you may sound like a little bit of out of protocol, and looking back on it now, it low-key is out of protocol, but that just goes to show how strongly of a connection I felt to the teachers that I was working with and the students, because I thought that it would behoove me to go down to the school to talk directly to Mrs. Smith to find out what was said about me and get my job back, right? So, I don't know if you guys do this, but for me, I felt like, okay, look, first of all, this is a really hard conversation. God, why are you doing this to me? But I guess I gotta figure it out. If I'm gonna have to do all this and I'm fired black girl, I don't want to have to go down there looking busted. So I felt like if I got as pretty and fabulous as possible looking bomb, then I would have the confidence to address them and have this really hard conversation, right? Because it's if I go down there looking bummy, it's kind of they're not going to receive me as well, so let me just get bumped. So I head down there directly to the school where I worked at with the teachers, right? So I go to the school, I go to the office, I asked to speak to Mrs. Smith, and they told me that she was in a meeting. I specifically went at the time that I know she was on lunch, so they were like, she's in a meeting, but here's your time card. Make sure you take your time card and turn it into the district office to Mr. Vidal. Good luck with everything, sweetie. That's what they told me. Off to a great start. So I take my time card and I head down to the district office to speak to Mr. Vidal. Mr. Vidal is Susie's manager. So he's the guy who hires and fires people. On my way to the district office, the whole car ride, I'm just praying hardcore, God, just open up Mr. Vidal's heart, just allow him to see where I'm coming from and bring to light the truth, and really just give me the right words to say to him that will open up his heart to alleviate this issue so that way I can get my job back. All right, great. Now, Mr. Vidal is this tall Hispanic man, and he's always had this really chill vibe about him. He's kind of like the uncle principal guy. So I felt oh, great, I can definitely talk to Mr. Vidal, So I go in and I can literally sense his energy. And the moment we sit down, I have no idea what Miss Smith said about me. So it's kind of walking on eggshells. He was just being so rude and so stern, and it's not his character. It's not his normal character. So the moment I opened up my mouth and just said one statement, which was, I have no idea what happened or what's going on. I have no idea why I'm fired. The moment I said that, his demeanor definitely went down, and he was like, well, you're fired, we got some information, I can't really tell you, and I don't know what happened for him to just open up and tell me, but he was just all right, I'm not supposed to tell you, but here's the email that I received from Mrs. Smith. So he opens up Mrs. Smith's email, and basically in the email, Miss Smith told Mr. Vidal this story. So apparently another teacher that I also worked with at the school told Mrs. Smith that during class, the teacher asked me to do something, and I was on my phone when she already asked me. I was on my phone, like playing on my phone, and when she asked me to do something, I looked up from my phone at her, told her, I don't want to do that. And I went back on my phone and stayed on my phone to the end of class. Now, that's absolutely ridiculous, not the truth at all. That teacher told Miss Smith that story. So Miss Smith submitted that information to the doll, and at the end of the email, she also added her little 2 cents and said that in addition to this, horrible behavior, she has also been late to my class every single day. Now, this is where it gets tricky because obviously that first story wasn't true, and I know that. But there's no way that I can tell Mr. Vidal that and he's going to believe me over his employees, right? And that's what I said to him. He was kind of like, you're right. And I was like, however, it's interesting that she said that I was late every single day to her class. My time card is right here, and it shows you that I was on time every single day to her class, except for the first day because Miss Susie forgot to call me and tell me what time to come in. Checkpoint. Clarice 1, teacher 0. He just looked at the time card and he was like, whoa, that's crazy. So we're going back and forth, and I told him, I was basically asking, can I get my job back, or can I be transferred to another school? Because my freshman year of high school, I had worked for 2 other teachers in his district. So I told him that information, and he was just like, okay, you know what I can do? I can call them for a reference, see if I can get you transferred. No promises. I'll call you in the morning and tell you yes or no, right? And I was like, okay, fabulous. Now, I've never been fired before, so I don't know the protocol. I don't know how this works. So after we had our conversation, I was just like, all right, as far as my final check, do I get it is it going to go direct deposit today, tomorrow? Am I going to get a check from you right now? How does this work? And then Mr. Vidal tells me that I have to wait until next month, the second pay period, to get my check. Boy, you're tripping. I was like, what?